Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner coming to you for the DeKalb County Library System. And we are going to do earrings today. I know, here I am with a catch in my throat again. Excuse me. I know we're going to do at least 2 and possibly 3 pairs. That's what I'm aiming for. But I am on a roll with chips. I'm really loving them. And it's so, I just think it's such a pretty springy, summery thing that I decided to continue with the chips. So we're going to be making 3 pairs of earrings. I could hold up the examples, but I don't want to ruin it. I'll wait until we get down to the other camera. No, I won't. Anyway, here's the first one. Here's the first one that we're going to match up and stop swinging. I know it gets all blurry when it swings. Get over there. So here's the first earring. I can get it to hang right. There. A nice little oval with some little chips. I'm calling these blooming earrings because they look like little flower petals. There's one. I like it. Made with some amethyst. And here's one with some aventurine. I rarely use cast pieces, but this is such a pretty one, and I've used it before that I thought it would make the neatest earring. Let's see if I can, there, so that you can get a better look. With some little aventurine dangles. So those are what I'm aiming at doing today. It takes very little. It takes the beads of your choice. You can use chips like I'm using, or you can use any small beads. It takes 20 gauge wire, your usual tools, round and square nose pliers and cutters, and a ruler. And that's all you need to make these. Oh, I'm sorry. And a cast piece. And again, it doesn't have to be this exact one. I've had these for a very long time. Please don't ask me where I got them because I don't know. I don't remember. But any little piece like this you can use for just to dangle your beads from. So let's go ahead and get started. And oh, Virginia, that's so embarrassing when I do that. And I do it because I don't have my glasses on. I can't see what button I'm pushing. So I'm just pushing a button. So anyway, let's get down here to the other camera. All right, so here's the first pair that I thought we would do. Aren't those cute? Very simple, very easy to make. Oh, I forgot to tell you, you need some kind of a cylindrical item in order to shape this little earring right here. Very simple. So what I need for this size, and it depends on the size that you want. So I can't give you exact measurements. You can use like something like this, like a handle of my little my mallet. You can use a pencil if you want a smaller one, or a Sharpie if you want one that's a little bit bigger, an ink pen. It's really up to you, depending on the size that you want. So to get this size, which is approximately, without the beads, it's about 1 1/4 inches long. I'm using 4 inches of wire. And this little handle is about 5/8 of an inch across. If I put it on my ruler, yeah. So that's what I'm using. And what I'm going to do is just, notice how I didn't straighten this wire out. It already has a natural curve, and there's really no reason for me to straighten it because I'm going to curve it again. So I'm going to take my wire, put it around my little cylindrical item, and I'm just going to use that to shape it. Just wrap that around. until I get my shape. And because I've already done one, I want to make it as close to this one as possible. But before I start trying to match it up to this, I want to go ahead and get my beads on. I can see that this one's a little bit fatter than the other one. So I'm just going to squeeze it a little bit to get it a little more narrow until I get it to about the size I want. And then we'll save the rest of the shaping for later. Yeah. That's good enough. Now it's time to get my beads. And these are chips, so they're not going to be exactly the same. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Let's try to get this a little more clear. Let's take it down a little further. Okay. So here's my little teardrop shape. I'm going to go ahead and introduce my beads. And if it's too curved, you might have to straighten it out a little bit and maneuver it on there and then recurve it. You know where you want to go down there. Okay. Put some more beads on. Oops, come back here. Little holes in these beads are so tiny. I do like the way I do kind of like the way they're not all drilled the same. So they have a little swing in them. Let's see, that looks pretty good. Yes, okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and kind of recurve it a little bit. Oh, my beads came off. No, come back, come back. Back on there. Okay. Recurve it a little bit. Let's see. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now I want to create my loop. Now you want to make sure that they're mirror image. So this one's wrapping around this way. So I want to wrap this one the other direction. So this one's wrapping from left to right for me. And so the other one needs to wrap right to left. So I have a mirror image. Let's check out my size here. Come on. Let me start my little loop. Check my size again. So I just wrapped that around the other stem. And I'm going to check the size. Just a little bit more. The joys of matching your earrings up. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay. So I'm going to cut off this little excess, but before I do that, this other wire that's kind of sticking out to the side, I'm going to bend it until it's straight up, because that's what's going to make my loop on top. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut off this extra tail of wire that I don't need, so that I can make a tiny little loop back here in the back. So I'm going to snap that off. I'm going to hold on to this tail. And if you don't have enough to hold on to, just grab one of your little wire loop things and cut it off down in there. Then you don't have to worry about chasing it all over the room. See, I have all kinds of little pieces of wire down in the bottom there, as you can see. It makes a nice little well. All right, so now I'm going to squeeze down this little end. There we go. And now I'm going to make my loop. Let's check this out again. Looks pretty good. Look about the same size. Okay, time to make my loop. So what I want to do, my loop is going around this way and ending back here. So I'm going to bend my wire to my left. The end is on this side. I'm going to bend it in the opposite direction to the side, just like that. And then I'm going to snip off down to about 3/8 to 1/2 inch, depending on how big you want your loop to be. It doesn't have to be that big, so I'm going to knock it down to about 1/2 inch. Cut off the end. And now I'm going to make my loop. And my loop needs to be going from side to side, because when I put it on the ear wire, it needs to go through the ear wire from front to back. So I'll slide my wire down about 1/3 of the way down my pliers. I don't want anything sticking out the back here. And I'm just going to rotate until I have a partial loop. And then without taking my pliers out, I'm going to open it up and rotate the pliers back and close back down. Make another little turn, open, rotate back, close back down until I have a full circle. And there's my loop. Very good. And now I'm going to show you how to make an ear wire. That's really easy. All I need is about 2 to 2.5 inches of wire, depending on how long you want your ear wires to be. Some people like that that part that hangs in the back to be really long, and some people don't. Let's see here. And I'd rather cut it a little longer and just cut off what I don't need than not have enough. Okay, so let's see. So now I'm going to, again, grab the tip of my wire, slide it down about 1/3 of the way down my pliers. I don't need too big a loop. I don't want any of the wire sticking out the back. I'm going to, oops, get back in there. I'm going to rotate until I have a loop, just like I did before. So give it, come on, give it a little turn, open, rotate back, close back down, turn, open, and just keep doing that until I have a closed loop. Here's my loop. And now I'm going to go ahead and It depends on how big you want the inside of your loop to be. You can use an ink pen, you can use a pencil, you can use the side of your pliers. It's entirely up to you what you use to make your loop. So let's see. I don't remember what I used. I think I used a Sharpie. Let's see. Let's see, shall we? Yeah, that's about the right size. So what I'm going to do is take my Sharpie, slide it down to just about 1/8 of an inch above my loop. And here's the loop sticking out on one side. I want my Sharpie to be on the other side where the loop is not. So there's my loop sticking out. And my Sharpie's on the other side. And I'm just going to bend the wire around the Sharpie. Spin it around like so. There we go. Yes, that's about right. And then I'm just going to take my fingers and shape it. Just give it a little curve. Just like that. And now all I need to do is cut off what I don't need. I'm going to cut it down to about the same size as this one. And if you have one already made, you can put them together and make them as close to the same size as possible. Size and shape. So this one's already done. So let's kind of match them up. Oh, that's pretty good. Not bad at all. So now I just need to cut off the end, cut off what I don't want. Where's my little thing? There it is. Cut off the edge. And then I'm going to take my pliers just right on the tip of my ear wire. And I'm going to give it a little ledge. So I'm just going to twist up just a tiny bit. And there's my ear wire. Neat, huh? All right. And I just need to open my loop. This loop is a little bigger than I want it to be. So I'm going to get rid of a tiny bit of that. And by that, I just need to cut a fraction of an inch on the inside of the loop. And then reclose it, and it'll be smaller. There we go. I'll just open up my loop. Slide it on my earring. Slide the closed loop inside the open loop. Needs to be open a bit more. Close it up. And voila. I have a pair of earrings. Nice little chip dangle earrings. Aren't those pretty? Neat, huh? Let's get rid of some of that light. My goodness. There they are. I like them. They're so lightweight. I love being able to wear actual stones that aren't too heavy. All right, so let's go on to earring pair number 2. And that is going to be our amethyst. Aren't those neat? So different. Okay, so what I need for that is my beads. Got a nice little selection of beads here. And then what I'm going to do is just make little posts that have what is turning to my favorite little infinity bottom for the head pin. Because I mean, you can just use plain head pins, but if you can avoid having to buy an extra component, why not just use your wire, make your own head pin? So that's what we're going to do. It's going to look like this when we're done. And then we're going to add our beads. So all I need for that is about, think about 2 inches. Yeah, 2 inches of wire. And oops, let's get over there where you can see. 1 3/4 to 1 7/8 to 2 inches of wire, depending on how long you want it to be. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my round nose pliers. I don't know how that bead got there. And I'm going to just go just beyond the tip of my pliers. Clamp down. I don't want anything sticking out the back again. I'm going to rotate until I have a really small loop, just like I've done my other loops, just a little smaller. So there's my loop. Then I'm going to go behind that loop. And if you want to make sure that it's the same size, I just slide it in the old one just to see approximately where to go for the second one. So again, I'm going to slide it just under the first loop and make a second loop right beside it. So I just rotate until I have a second loop. And there's my little infinity pin. It is, yeah. I'm going to do another one. So just at the tip of my pliers, nothing sticking out the back, grabbing the tip of my wire. It's a little tricky because it doesn't like that. Once you get it started there, you're good. Rotate until I have my loop. There we go. Go back in. Let's check the distance. There we go. Go back in. Make my second loop just beside it. Nice. Isn't that cute? Looks like a little ribbon. All right, so now all I need to do is put my beads on. So just pick some beads. So here's the first one on the bottom. Just going to put 2 beads on there. Look as close as I can to the other one. They're chips, so you know they're all drilled differently. So, and I like to roll it around until I can get them as close together as possible, so I don't have a lot of wire showing. Pretty. So you need to determine how much of the wire you want to show. I want enough so that it has this ladder looking effect, this zigzag effect. So I'm going to leave a good 3/8 of an inch in between my loop and my bead. So let's see what I have. I have about 1/2 an inch, which is perfect. So I can make a nice little loop. Now I want my loop, my infinity shape down here is laying flat. So I want my loop to go from front to back so that when I hooked it together, you'll be able to see the infinity. So I just want a small loop. And you're going to do that loop like you do all your other loops. Just like so. And I'm going to bend that back so that it's upright. Make sure it's closed. There we go. So let's go on and do a second one. Put a bead on. Another bead on. I'm going to show the easiest way to do this is to go ahead and make your put your bead on. And then make a loop. You can put both of your beads on. Let's see here. Now this is going, the first one's going to go. Let's see here. So the first one is going to be closed. And then the second one is going to go in between, like that. So I'm going to make my loop. Again, my infinity symbol is flat. My loop is going to be going up and down. Make my loop. And then I'm going to open my loop to the side here. And I'm going to slide it on in between the beads. So it's in between the beads. And close it. There we go. So there's my first little ladder, little zigzag. And then I'm going to do it again. Let's do a third one. Put a bead on. Another bead on. Close it up. This one's bigger, longer than it needs to be. So I'm going to cut a little bit off. It just needs to be about a little more than ½ an inch for me. That's me. Doesn't have to be the same for you. Just depends on how long you want your pins to be. That in turn will determine how long your earring is. My infinity's going right to left. My loop's going in front to back. Oh, it's raining. Sorry, I got distracted. It's raining outside. Okay. Go. That's going to go. This is going this way and this way. This one's going this way and this way. And then the other one's going to go that way. Okay. Yes. Boop, 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 boop. Make sure I want to make sure it's mirror imaged. Let's put that over there where I can see what I'm doing. That goes that, that goes that. Yes. Goes in there. That goes in there. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to open this little guy up right here. and loop it in between these two beads. And you're going to do this as many times as you want, as long as you want it to be. That will just determine how long your earrings are. As many little pins as you put on here. I originally only had 3 and then decided I wanted it to be a little longer. So I made it 4. And let's do one more. Put my little bead on. Second bead on. Yes, that's going to go that way. Yes. And let's close it up again. Flat, oh, you know, this is not as straight as I want it to be. Let's flatten that out a little bit. There. Infinity side to side. Loop front to back. Cut it down to about 1/2 inch because that is about the size I want. Make my loop. Yes. And then this one is going to go in between the beads. So basically you're just putting a loop in between each of your each of the next stems beads. Slide that in there. Let's close it up. And there we go. Here's my earring. Now all I need is another ear wire, and I am set and ready to go. Come on, hang down for me. Yeah, good, 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 good. Ah, yes. Aren't those pretty? Okay, let's make an ear wire. Again, a couple of inches of wire. Straighten this out. That's all. It. Yeah, let me nab 2 inches. 2 inches on the clock. Cut that off. Make a small loop. Loops are so important. You use them for everything when it comes to wire. You have to know how to do them. Grab my little Sharpie. I think I used a Sharpie for this one. This one looks a little smaller. Maybe I used a pen. Yeah, I might have used a pencil for this one and then opened it up. Yeah, so let's use the pencil. All right, again, I'm back behind my loop. There's my loop sticking out here. There's the straight side back here. I'm going to go about 1/4 of the way up, away from my loop. bring my wire around my pencil or whatever cylindrical item you're using. Here we go. I'm going to shape it. Now I can see this is a little longer than the other one. So let's correct that. Yeah, that's a little longer. So I'm going to cut my loop and re-loop because I have a little bit more distance here than I do on this one. I'm going to cut my loop off a little bit and make another loop just to take up that excess. Nice. I'm going to shape it just with my fingers. Just give it a little curve. Close that up. Okay, and this is a little shorter, so let's cut some of that off. Yeah. And I've got to get rid of that little tail there. Nip that off. And make my little ledge. We're done. It's a little shorter than the other one. Just a teeny tiny bit. So let's snip a little bit off of this one. Curve. There we go. And let's attach it to my earring. Close it up. And there we go. Neat. Aren't those pretty? Oh, they're so different. I can't wait to try these on. Aren't those neat? Okay. I did promise that I was going to try to do a third pair, and we are. This is very simple because we're using a cast piece. We're not doing a whole heck of a lot of work. So we're going to make this one. And again, I'm going to use my infinity wrap or my pen. I don't need much because I'm just putting 2 of these beads on the pen and then attaching them to the cast piece. So I only need about, how big are my beads? I just need to measure my beads and then add about 1/2 inch on each side. And that's more than enough. So this is about 1/2 inch. So about 1.5 inches is all I need to do my piece. And you can cut it a little longer if you want, if you're afraid it might not be long enough, and then just cut off what little tiny bit is left. So I'm going to make my infinity loop again. Tiny little little bit from the end of the pliers, nothing sticking out the back here. Make a little loop, Close my loop. Then go behind it or under it, make a second loop. Here's my little pin. Let's flatten it out. Okay, let's put my beads on. I'm going to put 2 of these babies on. Match that up a little bit. Yeah. Where's it drilled? Is that it? No. Oh, the joy of chips. Is that it? No. Is that it? No. Sometimes I like to just hold it up to the light and see if I can see through it. Oh, look at that. It's on the side. I don't know if that's where I want it to be. Oh, that'll work. Let's put this one on top of it. See how that works. Yeah, that's fine. That's very pretty. Okay, and then I just need to make a loop on the other side. See how much extra I have left? I don't need all of that. Cut it down to 1/2 inch. Let's bend it back first. Boop. Put it down. And make my lid. Okay. And now I can attach it to my little cast piece. Just goes right there. Yeah. Open it up. String the open loop in the cast piece. Just at the bottom. Decide what your front and back is going to look like. This one is very close. Doesn't really have much difference. Yeah, not really. But I do get a kind of slight mirror image there, so that's good. Okay, slide the open loop inside the closed loop and close up my loop. There it is. Cute. And making another ear wire. We're going to be professionals at that. I mean, that is the point, right? Nice quick ear wire. Just a couple of inches of wire. Snip that off. Make my loop. Grab my Sharpie. I can see that this was done with a Sharpie. That's a big one. Wrap my wire around. Shape it. Make my little ledge. And again, I can see that this one is a little longer. So let's correct that. Oh, no, not really, not much. A little bit, but not much. Just a teeny tiny bit. Okay. and attach. Just open up my loop. That way, that's going that way, yes. Slide that closed loop inside my open loop. I never open it enough. More, Virginia, more. Really? My goodness. And close. And there they are. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put the extra little bead on. That's easy enough. I hope it's not too curved, but let's see if we can get it on there. Might have to take this little hitch out first. Straighten that out a little bit to get it over the curve. It's much easier if you do it properly. Okay, now I need to recurve it. No biggie. Just roll it back over my Sharpie to get the curve back. And there it is. Put them together. There. All right. And there are my earrings. Aren't those neat? Let's take a look at all of them. Where are the other? Oh, I hung them up. I hung them up like a good girl. One, two, and three. Three lovely pairs of earrings. What do you think? Aren't they neat? I love it. And they're all so different. They're just made with my little chips, and they're all so pretty. They look, I'm calling them blooming chip earrings because they look like little flowers, kind of, sort of. How do you like those? I think we had a successful tutorial today. Very nice. All right. I ought to put a pair on, but I won't bore you with that. But oh my goodness, I'm so happy. I'm so happy with them. Well, that is our tutorial for today. I just love it when we're able to make at least 3 pairs of earrings. They're so neat. None of them match what I'm wearing today, unfortunately, or I would plop a pair of them in my ears. Aren't those neat? Ah, I like it. Those are going to be so pretty when I find the proper thing to wear them with. These are my favorites. Anyway, that's our tutorial for today. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you'll let me know what you think. You can contact me at, oh, my shirt is falling off, jewelrygen20@gmail.com. That's JEWELRY20 at gmail.com, or you can get in touch with us at the library Facebook page, which is facebook.com/DeKalb Library. That's facebook.com/DeKalbLibrary. And just go into the search engine and put in jewelry with Jen, and all of the videos that I've ever done will come up. They will be there, as far as I know, forever for you to enjoy. And please always know that these tutorials are free to you. They are sponsored by the Libraries Foundation, the DeKalb County Library Foundation, just for you and for your enjoyment. So please, please take advantage of it. Please let the library know whether or not you like them, so that we can continue to bring them to you if you do. And if you have any feedback, please let me know, good, bad, anything. I need to know what you're thinking, what you would like to see me do next, if you have any ideas or thoughts, and what did work for you, what didn't work for you, any of it, all of it. I want to know at my email or at the Facebook page. One way or the other, we want to hear from you. Okay, until next time, I hope you enjoyed it again, and I hope you will enjoy the rest of your week and your weekend. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.